Hello, friends. I'm TS, and I've made a huge mistake. So let me explain a little bit. I spend about 18 hours a day on YouTube, and that is a crazy number, even for somebody that considers himself chronically online. 18 hours a day is a lot, and that's just on YouTube. That's not any other platform. Um, I spend my time meticulously curating playlists, and when the playlists get too big, I'll split them off into other lists, and it's a process that I used to do with physical media and my magazines and CDs and cassettes, and I'm an archiver, and now I do that pretty much in the digital space. And I want to talk about some of my playlists. I mainly work out of one called Current Events. That's where anything that I'm trying to write videos about or new information or current events, basically any pop culture things that are relevant and timely, and also my political narratives uh, playlist, which I deleted after the election because I just kind of wanted to get away from that for a little while. But that playlist is slowly growing, and I've been writing some scripts about some of that stuff. So there's some political videos coming. I just want to warn you. Another one I use a lot is one called Secrets of the Music Business. And that's where anytime I've got a few creators that I put stuff in there about building sets and performing and all the behind the scenes business stuff and how record labels work and how uh, all the business part of music goes in there. I also do have some stuff that is just for pure fun. One's called Just for Fun. I have no reason creatively to have those videos, but it's all movie clips and TV clips and just anything fun, cartoons and movies and any of that kind of stuff. I don't really get into there too much because I'm usually using all of the ones that I'm learning from, which is what we'll talk about here in a minute. But I want to go through some more of these playlists. I've got one playlist that is just pilots from TV shows. Anytime I find the first episode of a TV show, even if it's a TV show I don't like, it goes in that playlist, and it's getting rather large. There's a lot of crazy pilots in there. You should check that out if that's something you're into. I also have a playlist for all my stand-up comedy. Stand-up, besides music, is probably my second favorite form of entertainment. And so all of my favorite stand-up comedians are in that playlist. I have playlists for celebrities and fame because that's one of the things that I've been trying to work on creating some videos about, and that fame and celebrity is something that I've always been intrigued by, and I'm starting to really develop some of my thoughts about what I think about that stuff and the way the culture progresses and stuff like that. So watch for those kind of videos from me in the future. Speaking of which, I also have one called Music Deep Dives, which is mainly just essays about movies or directors or actors and all that kind of stuff. And on the same token, I've got one called Music Deep Dives, which is about artists or albums or genres or any of that kind of stuff. Any essays related to actual music in that sense. Then I got my learning playlists. I got one called Thinking About Things. I think Thinking About Thinking is what I called it. And it's all kinds of like 48 Laws of Power and Buddhist philosophies and those type of things. All esoteric or metaphysical subjects. And then on the opposite of that, I have one called Doing Things, which is anytime if you need to learn how to do something, organization or you just have to look at it. There's just doing things. If I want to learn how to do something on the computer, or if I want to learn how to build something, it's actually physical doing things. And one I had to spin off of the doing things was gear and equipment, because that was all lumped into doing things. Whenever I had videos about pedals, guitar pedals that I want to get, or about how to string your guitar, or how to just all that kind of stuff, is now all of that's in gear and equipment. And any kind of videos about tools, or from reading a tape measure up to how to frame a building. I don't know. I don't really do that kind of thing. But that's just an example of what's in there. Then I have actually learning, and one called Encyclopedia and Anthropology, which is official learning things like science and math. A lot of number file videos in there, and essays about Tesla's math and Einstein and real science and math. And one I spun off of there was history. History used to be basically anything in the encyclopedia playlist would be anything you actually learn in school, or should learn and should be learning in school. But I spun the history ones off because there got to be too many of them, and that's its own subject. Now let's talk about my music playlists, because obviously music is most of my life. So I have a playlist for new releases, which anytime I hear new music, it goes in the new releases, because I hope and plan on making playlists and making videos reviewing new music. So that's what that's for. But I have a basic one of music that I just like to listen to, music that I love. And that one has spun off other playlists into genres like I have hairband stuff, which I hate the term hairband, so I think I call it 80s pop metal, or 80s hard metal, pop metal and hard rock. I've got a playlist for yacht rock. I got a playlist for blues, prog metal, and prog metal has spun off into another playlist of stuff that is progressive, but is maybe not categorized as prog metal so much. And I call that playlist Smart People Music. I'm going to do a whole video about my Smart People music, because there's a lot of neat stuff in there and a lot of new stuff that I've found. I've got one for chill. It's called Chill. And it's basically anything mellow, super mellow, like Enya, or even Portishead and Massive Attack and stuff like that. All that stuff is in my chill. And a lot of classical music goes in chill. And I've got a whole playlist for millennial music. Anything after 2000 just got lumped into its own thing, because it was just clogging up the real music folder playlist. And on the opposite side of that, I have one called Oldies, which is everything that goes back to the 1800s, just good songs and things that I'm trying to learn. And Oldies playlist got so big that I had to spin it off into songs that are actually considered the Great American Songbook. And that's a pretty amazing playlist. And also crooners. I spun off crooners into its own. I've got all the Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and all that kind of stuff in there. I've even got a playlist for country music called Country Music That Doesn't Suck, as I wanted a place to put like Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard and all of that good old country. Even newer stuff like Chris Stapleton and stuff is in there. A lot of Dolly Parton and a lot of Loretta Lynn and all that kind of stuff. So I've got a playlist just for mashups. I've got a playlist just for cover songs. And that includes cover songs of artists doing like really cool covers. And then also like acoustic covers of songs that I'm trying to play that I'm kind of stealing people's ideas for how to translate some songs that aren't acoustic onto acoustic when I go to do my own covers. I've got a playlist for fictional bands and bands from movies. Everybody from the Blues Brothers to the rock star movie, The Steel Dragon, and just any band or music from movies and television that is fictional. Even down there, I've got the songs from Happy Days, Lenny and the Squigtones, and just all kinds of stuff in that playlist. And then there's ones that I had to single out whole artists because there just was so much that I had to have their own playlist. The Beatles, Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin isn't really a Led Zeppelin playlist. It started out as Page and Plant, and it was all of their solo stuff, like the Jimmy Page and David Coverdale album, and all of the albums that they did together, Walking into Clarksdale, and then all of Robert Plant's solo stuff, and then some Led Zeppelin stuff just sprinkled in around that. There's a Dylan playlist, a Bob Dylan playlist that is basically folk rock. It's all the Bob Dylan stuff, but it's also Leonard Cohen and Phoebe Bridgers and Bright Eyes and anything that's kind of folky or folk rock goes in that playlist. And then I have some playlists of artists that I'm working on videos for, like Billy Morrison and the Tragically Hip and the new guy Jesse Wales. And then some other playlists for Kingdom Come, and TNT is one of my favorite prog metal bands, and it was in prog metal, but there was just so much of it that I had to spin it off into its own playlist. And then one from Jellyfish, which includes Jellyfish and all of their solo stuff and all of Eric Dover's other bands like Licorice Quartet and anything related to Jellyfish. So you see how I kind of split up all of my music playlists. It seems like a lot, but it all makes sense to me anyway. But then let's talk about the ones that I actually work out of, like more lesson type of stuff. I've got one for just song tutorials. Teach me how to play this song. And that one got so big that I had to spin it off into another one that is just people playing songs with the chord charts on them, or just playing along to the actual recording so I can see how they're playing it, that kind of stuff. I've got a whole playlist for next on deck songs that I'm actually learning that I'm going to have cover songs for. So if you ever want to know what songs are coming up on my other channel as far as covers, they'll be in that current one. Then I have playlists for like actual instrumental instruction and music theory and all that kind of stuff. And then that one's spun off into actual guitar stuff, all the shredder guitar lessons and bass guitar lessons. And then I have all of my playlists that I work out of when I'm working on my year ending in a number videos. Right now I'm working on tearing down the 74, 84, 94, and whatever videos. But right on its tails is all of the year ending in 5 videos. I've got huge playlists for 1975, 1985, 1995, 2005, and all the rest, 1965, 2015. Might as well just name them all. And that adds a lot of playlists. And eventually, as I work through them, they'll be separated into movie stuff and pop culture stuff and music stuff. And it's a whole process. Like I said, I'm obsessed with archiving these playlists and all of these videos. But I say all that just so you understand that I'm not just doom scrolling Facebook and TikTok and what have you for 18 hours a day. I'm actually working and learning and studying videos to write my own scripts for my own videos. And therein lies the rub. Because even if I'm actually actively learning things, I'm still, for the most part, on the wrong side of the creator-consumer balance. So I'm trying to become more harsh with my decisions on what goes into playlists and what I actually spend my time watching. And as I do that, it gets easier to just go through a playlist and just delete. I'm never going to get to that. I'm never going to watch that. It seems interesting, but it's never going to be close to the top of the list as a priority for me to watch. So I'm working on that. But I am very, very prone to procrastination. Which leads me to the other point that a lot of videos that I watch in my thinking about things and the doing things end up being what I call procrastination, what I call productivity porn. And productivity porn is videos that I watch to procrastinate that make me feel better about the procrastination because they're teaching me how not to procrastinate. So it's kind of a psychological thing. I can waste 10 minutes watching a video telling me 10 ways to stop procrastination when the first thing on that list should be stop watching this video and get up and go do something. So I'm trying to get better about that. Which brings me to the mistake that I mentioned at the first part of the video. I found a productivity podcast, which is a million times worse than procrastination porn videos that are 10 minutes long, because now I have 300 2-hour podcasts to listen to, and I'm a completist, so I have to listen to them all. I even had to create another playlist called Podcast Overflow just so I can work on those podcasts out of. And luckily, I'm using those a lot to fall asleep to, and for when I'm not really paying attention, I can put on one of those and work through it just to get through them when I just don't want to have silence. But I'll tell you about those podcasts. The first one is called Hello Internet, and it's a guy named CGP GREY, who I have a lot of his YouTube videos in my Thinking About Things playlist, because I love the way his brain works and I love the way he puts videos together, and he talks about that a lot in this playlist. And his buddy on there is called Brady Heron, and he's a guy from Number File YouTube channel, which I really like a lot. It's a really smart channel, and they teach you about like numbers and equations and formulas and all that kind of stuff. It's way more interesting than I'm making it sound. But they call it genre of podcast two dudes talking, and apparently I really like that formula, because a couple of the other videos podcasts that I put in the Podcast Overflow are also the two dudes talking genre. But as I start plowing through these podcasts, I find that CGP GREY also does another podcast with a guy named Mike Hurley that's called Cortex, and they basically do the same thing. I like when they're talking about organization and efficiency and creating systems for yourself and all of that kind of thing. And Gray's kind of a cut and dry, somewhat antisocial person. The other two guys are a little more free-spirited, and so it's neat how they interact with each other. Mike Hurley and Brady Heron are both, one of them's Australian. Brady's Australian, and I think Mike Hurley is English, but they both have British accents, and I just love to hear them talk back and forth. Their personalities and what they learn from each other and teach each other just really fits well with, they basically embody the two sides of my mind. So it's really inspiring listening to them talk. I don't listen to all of it because they get into some things that I'm not real excited about. Gray is real obsessed with flags, and a lot of his YouTube videos are about flags, and they talk about flags, and I skip right through those sections. And Brady's obsessed with plane crashes, so they always do a plane they call it plane crash corner, and I skip past that. Actually, there's a whole lot of sections that I skip past because they talk about tech a lot, and Gray is kind of a Apple fanboy, and I don't use Apple products at all right now. Eventually, I might get a Apple laptop when I have to start recording music again, but I skip past all those sections, and most of the whole thing I just listen to on 2x speed, so I can burn through a 2-hour podcast in less than 45 minutes usually. But it's interesting because they are early adopters on things. Gray is also a big Tesla fanboy, so I'm still way early in the podcast, so I'm interested to see how when we get closer to current day, how his opinions on old Elon Musk changes. And it was kind of fun seeing something as early as 2016 was the earliest that I heard them talk about AI. And they talk about it in the way that it was kind of glorified back in the day. And I'm interested to see in the modern day what Gray feels about the AI slop and how AI is really kind of taking a turn for the worst in a lot of ways. Anyway, I'm going to be cooped up. I'm starting to move into the time period where I'm going to be more cooped up for the winter and stuck in this room. So I'll have a lot more time to plow through these podcasts. But luckily, I've been able to break my cycle a little bit at least, and start making a lot more of my own videos. But as I plow through these podcasts, hopefully I can get inspired by some of the things they talk about, and I'll add those ideas into videos that I make, because it's a lot of stuff that I want to make videos about. So it's not a total loss, but the ultimate goal is just not to take too much away from my own creator goals. So we'll see how that goes. I don't even think I'm going to edit this video. I'm just going to throw it right up, because it's kind of just a side thing that I was thinking about that podcast and stuff. So I appreciate it if you made it this far. This was kind of a rambling one. But come and check out some more of my videos. Tell me down below what you want me to make videos about. If you want to hear my opinion on anything, whether it's movies or music or productivity or politics or whatever, just let me know.